Hey everybody, welcome to the class. All right, so a couple things before we get into what we're going to do this week. First off, hopefully you have seen already that we are not actually meeting in person for this first week, and actually we're not going to meet next week either, all right? So the first time that we're actually going to meet in person is going to be, we're going to split the class in two so that we can social distance and we're not really close to each other when we're in lab. But the first time that you could meet would be Tuesday, January 26th, and then the other half of the class will come in Thursday, January 28th. And I'll get more into how we're going to split the class up in just a little bit. So anyway, don't come to class, don't come to campus for our class this first week because we're going to wait until later to meet in person. Now what that does not mean is that you don't have to do anything for a couple weeks. You've actually got a lot of stuff that you can do before we start meeting, a lot of stuff that you need to do, all right? So let's go over what we have this week. One more thing though, if you have not gone to the Start Here tab up in the top left, click on that first. I've got another video that's kind of like a quick Blackboard orientation, show you where you can find everything, where assignments and things like that are going to be. So take a minute, watch that real quick before we go any further, all right? So this week, the first thing you need to do right off the bat, like as soon as you're done with this video, you've got a Biology 103 pretest. What this is, honestly, it's paperwork stuff that we have to do as instructors. But what we do is we give you a test with a whole bunch of questions about biology before the semester starts, just to see what you know coming into this class. Now, here's the good news. You're not supposed to know any of this yet. You have not taken this class with me yet this semester, so you are not supposed to know any of this. We're just kind of getting a baseline to see what you know about biology before we get started. So that's over in the Quizzes tab. If you click Quizzes, that should be up at the very top. It'll say Biology 103 pretest. Take that. It is not for a grade. I'm not even going to look at your individual grade. All I do when everybody is done is I'm going to get like this percentage of the class got question 1 right. This percentage of the class got question 2 right. All right. So really, don't stress about this. It's not for a grade. You don't have to prepare. You actually shouldn't prepare for this. Just take it as soon as you get a chance. All right. Feel free to just answer the questions that you know. If you start seeing some questions that you're not familiar with and you've never seen before, you can skip those. That's perfectly fine. Because if you don't know it, I would rather you just skip it. And then hopefully when you take the real test later on, if you see some similar questions, you'll know it at that point and you can do better. All right. So that's the pretest. After that, just a couple things to prepare for when we do meet in person. There is a COVID waiver form. So if you took classes here last semester, we had to do that. We've got to do it again. Even if you signed a waiver form last semester, we've got to do that again this semester. So up in the top left, there's a COVID waiver form. It's got instructions, but all you need to do is print that off, sign it, and you're going to bring it with you when we come to campus the first time. All right? I'll have a few that you can sign in person too if you forget or if you don't have access to a printer. But you do have to sign that. The college is being pretty strict on that. You actually have to sign one to be on campus. And if you haven't signed the form, we're supposed to send you home. So just make sure you bring that. And like I said, if you do forget, I'll have a couple extra too. All right? Okay, which day would you like to attend lab? Like I said, we're splitting up in two. There's actually 24 students enrolled in this class. But we can only fit 12 in our classrooms at a time and still stay spread out as much as we're going to need to. So if you will go to the course discussion tab, it's to the left a little bit lower down, there's going to be a discussion board. And all you do is you click on it, you're going to pick which day you would like to attend lab. I think it's called Select Your Lab Group. We can have a maximum of 12. So again, just pay attention, count how many people are signed up for Tuesday, how many people are signed up for Thursday. If there's less than 12, you can pick your day. If you do this a little later and like Tuesday is all booked up, then you'll just have to sign up for Thursday. Just another note, I'm sure I'll go over this again when we start meeting in person. Once you pick your day, that's the day you have to come all semester. You can't switch days. You can't say, oh, I've got a doctor's appointment this week. Can I come in with the other group? So just look at your personal schedule, figure out which day is going to work best for you. All right? But we'll be doing the same thing in both of the classes. Few things you can do for points while we're getting started too. These should be easy, very easy points. There is a About Me survey in the Quizzes tab. So go over to the Quizzes tab. And this is just some kind of questions so I can learn a little bit more about you. I haven't done the math yet, but I think I've got something like 130 students this semester. That's a lot of people to keep up with. So if I can learn like a little fact about you, makes it easier on me, and I can kind of make connections and learn who you are when we start meeting. So that is due Sunday, January 24th. I know that sounds like it's a ways off, but go ahead and do that right now. I pushed the due date for that back because drop ad is still going this week. There could be students that join like way late in the week, so I wanted you to have a pretty long deadline before you have to start turning stuff in. There is a syllabus quiz. I sent everyone an email with a copy of the syllabus, so hopefully you've read that already. But if you haven't, or if you want to just brush up on it, go over to the syllabus tab to the left, open it up, read through it. Feel free to like print it off and have it with you when you're taking this quiz. That's perfectly okay. And what you'll do is once you've read through the syllabus, let me know if you have any questions, but once you've read through it and you understand it, there's a quick 5-question syllabus quiz. Really simple questions, things like where is my office located and things like that. If you've got the syllabus, you're going to be able to find all that information. So that one is worth 5 points also, and that is also due next Sunday, January 24th. Lastly, there is a diversity project. So again, tab to the left, click on where it says diversity project. We've got some biographies of a couple different scientists you're going to go through, read their biographies, and once you know that information, you are going to take the diversity quiz. Again, you can have those biographies open. You can even print them off and highlight them if you want to. That's perfectly okay with me. But just have that information and then take that quiz. That one's, I'm going to make it worth 5 bonus points. So those actually help you out more in your final grade than just regular points. So make sure that you do that. And the deadline for that is also going to be January 24th. All right? Okay, last things, because we do have to start looking at like actual information. We're going to start lecturing this week. You need to watch the Chapter 1 lecture. Chapter 1 is kind of like an introduction chapter, but there's a lot of really important information. There's a lot of vocabulary and terms that we're going to use all semester that we're going to go ahead and learn in Chapter 1. So don't think it's just an intro, I can skip it. You do really need to know this because there's a lot of stuff that we're going to learn in Chapter 1 that you're going to see for the rest of the semester. So to find that, go over to the Learning Materials tab, click on Unit 1. Unit 1 is all the stuff that's going to be on your first test, and then click on Chapter 1 folder. When you do that, you're going to find a PowerPoint, so you can print that off and have it with you. And then I've also got videos of lectures that I've recorded, all right? So it was like a pretty long Chapter 1 lecture. What I did was I split it into smaller pieces. That way you can just kind of watch it whenever you get a chance. I know like doing the lecture on your own is probably a little different than what you've done before in classes, and I don't want you to have to sit down at your computer for like 2 hours at a time. So I've got it. Part 1 is about 25-30 minutes. Part 2 is about the same. Just make sure that you watch all of those. Take notes. Treat it like you're in a regular classroom. Take notes. Send me questions that you have when you're done. And then you've also got a review quiz. Once you have gone through the Chapter 1 lecture, go back to the quizzes tab, and you've got a review quiz that's going to be on that material that we covered in Chapter 1. All right? I promise it's not always going to be this much. Week 1, there's a lot of stuff in our checklist, but they're all really, really short things. So don't get overwhelmed. Don't panic. And these videos won't be that long either. Normally, it'll just be a few things to let you know. But that's it, really. Just kind of fool around with Blackboard, get familiar with it. Let me know if you have any questions, if you have trouble finding anything, and I'll be glad to help. And I'll see y'all in a couple weeks, but just make sure you're doing your work from home until we get there. Thanks.